to Word on the Street, where we check in with our panelists, find out what stories they are watching. We have gotten word of the second term agenda for President Trump. The Trump campaign has released it. So MAGA was the first slogan and agenda. What do we have now?
Trump is fighting for you! Exclamation point, Julie. So President Trump has not said much up till now about what he actually plans to do in his second term. And that's generated some criticism. And the Republican Party won't even have a platform at the convention this year. But just this morning, everybody will be relieved to hear that Trump published 50 things he plans to do in a second term. It's on his campaign website, which is donaldjtrump.com, and you can just click on the news button there to find it. I'll just give you a few of the highlights. Under jobs, create 10 million new jobs in 10 months, create 1 million new small businesses, cut taxes to boost take-home pay. I think that's the payroll tax that funds Social Security and Medicare. He wants to develop a COVID vaccine by the end of 2020. He's going to lower health insurance premiums, and 4 bullet points under drain the swamp. Now, just so people know, if you try to click on any of these items to see what the actual plan is, you don't get anything. There are no hyperlinks. There's no actual plan behind the bullet point. I will point out that if you go to Joe Biden's website and you look on his plans, everything you click on there, you get to a plan that is typically pages long with how they're going to pay for the plan, how much it's going to cost, all the specific subpoints of the plan, and so forth. So Trump's is an abbreviated version of something like that.
Rick, we talked to Greg Valliere earlier in the show, and he said that Trump really needs to broaden his appeal to college-educated women, that that's one of his areas of a shortfall, and that to do that, he might perhaps need to tone down the rhetoric. Any chance of that happening this week?
Sure. I'm sure Trump will tone down the rhetoric now that it's 10 weeks before Election Day. I'm obviously being sarcastic. Trump, everything he has done as president, including while he's campaigning for re-election, has been to energize the base. And the problem for Trump is that his base is not big enough to get him reelected. So he needs to expand somewhere. College-educated women is one. Suburban voters, especially suburban women, is another. He's getting crushed in that demographic. He's also losing older voters, according to polls anyway, and that makes sense given that they're most vulnerable to coronavirus amidst this terrible pandemic that just keeps going on and on. So to win, Trump does need to, he does for sure need to expand the people who might vote for him or cheat, which of course we all hope he doesn't. But I think it's going to be very hard for Trump to expand the people who support him.
Rick, I got to ask, what are we going to see out of this convention? Are we going to see, more divisive language from Trump? Are we going to see perhaps people call for a greater coalition underneath Trump, maybe trying to bring in more folks, as you alluded to, with college-educated women? What can we expect from this? Or will it just be kind of a, showcase of how awesome Trump believes he is?
Well, I think it'll be that. For sure, it'll be kind of a highlight reel of what Trump thinks his highlights are. It's going to feature Trump a lot. So it's going to be all about Trump. They're all the Trump family members we're all used to. They'll all show up. And, one of the things, the contrast between the Democratic convention will be pretty stark because at least on the list of announced speakers so far, there are no elder statesmen of the Republican Party. No former presidents are going to speak, and that would only basically be George W. Bush. He's obviously not going to speak. We're not going to have anybody like Colin Powell, who obviously endorsed Joe Biden last week. So I think it's going to be the same divisive rhetoric we've been hearing about all along. Trump's going to tell us that Joe Biden is senile, that Joe Biden is going to raise everybody's taxes, that Joe Biden is a socialist, he's a puppet of the socialist Democrats, and all these things we've been hearing for the last 3 months. So I think it's going to be kind of ugly. I think they're going to be kind of preaching to the choir among the Trump base, and I'm not sure they're going to move the needle very much.
Well, there will be Ted Nugent.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.